NBC4 at 5 starts now.
It is 5 o'clock and 89 degrees in Columbus on this very hot Friday. We have an air quality alert in effect, and we're tracking a change for pop-up storms. Thank you, everybody, on this finally Friday. I'm Darlene Hill. I'm
Jared Smalley in for Mark tonight. Chief Meteorologist Dave Mazza is here. Tracking the, I would call it considerably light chances for rain tonight?
Yes, okay. very small little chances. Like if we talk about popcorn showers, these are like the kernels. They're just tiny little, or wait, is that what those little things are called?
Yeah, those are
that works.
Yeah,
yeah, the things that you break your teeth on.
But are those the half-popped ones or the...
They're not cooked yet. They're not fully cooked.
Pre-cooked pop.
And that's kind of what we've got outside. You'll see what I mean on live.
All right, Dave, thank you. Well, that air quality alert across several counties is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight.
And some organizations around town are trying to help people who are most vulnerable to the heat stay cool out there. NBC4's Tyler Carter is live from Life Care Alliance tonight with that story. Tyler? New tonight, the Pike County Sheriff has been indicted on more than a dozen charges, including theft. Colleen Marshall is in the newsroom to tell us about Sheriff Charles Reeder and the trouble he is facing tonight. Colleen?
Well, it is big trouble, Jared. Reeder is accused of stealing.
2,500 athletes have gathered right here in Columbus for one of the biggest athletic events of their lives. And you know, these are some of the happiest athletes, too.
No doubt. It's an incredible scene. It is the opening night for this year's Special Olympics State Games at Ohio State. NBC4's Sean Lanier joins us live from the OSU campus where the games are getting ready to get started. Sean? All right, Sean, thank you, sir. Think about this. 22 different sports are represented in the Special Olympics in the state of Ohio. 22,000 Special Olympic athletes from all across the state compete every year.
That is amazing. And like we said, it's so much more than a game.
It is.
So much more than a game.
It means so much to families to see their kids enjoy the opportunities, and not just kids, adults. And that's a wonderful grouping to see that come together. They do it every year.
On an equal level playing field out there, too.
No doubt.
Don't give me an award. They want to all earn it.
Yeah,
all right.
It's inspiring.
Good deal. Still ahead on this Friday.
Former Vice President Joe Biden is defending his past today after a heated exchange with Senator Kamala Harris on the Democratic debate stage in Florida last night. She slammed his comments about working with segregationists decades ago.
Who also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist.
Now, today, Biden was in Chicago for an event with Reverend Jesse Jackson. He started his speech by clarifying his stance on busing and his record on civil rights, saying he did not have enough time to explain during the debate.
I never, ever opposed voluntary busing. And it was a program that Senator Harris participated in, and it made a difference in her life. I did support federal action to address root causes of segregation in our schools and our communities.
The event Biden attended is a nonprofit that pursues social justice and civil rights.
It's Operation Push.
Now, today marks the one-year anniversary of the Capitol Gazette shooting in Annapolis, Maryland that killed 5 people.
Ohio Republican Senator Rob Portman and Maryland Democratic Senator Ben Cardin have introduced legislation that would authorize a national memorial to those fallen journalists.
Washington correspondent Morgan Wright has the story.
1 year ago, a gunman...
Now, Jared, I don't know what you'd have to say about the weather out there today. I think it's beautiful. I think it's perfect. Some would say it's too hot. What do you think?
Well, I have issues with being a person who gets a sunburn after about 30 to 40 seconds. Yeah. That's about it, though. A solid hat, and I'm good. It was pretty strong out.
I mean, and here's the thing. You're only going to beat that by the calendar changing to like fall or winter when it doesn't get sunny ever.
We'll think about days like this in January and February.
That's a problem
here in Central Ohio.
I'm going to be thinking about this day when it's raining at some point in the next couple of days. Because not all of us have had the rain, but we have been watching it.
Outlet Mall shoppers got a little more than they bargained for when someone spotted a black bear in the parking lot. Happened in Grove City. Don't panic, Grove City, Pennsylvania. Bears are common in that area. The Pennsylvania Game Commission warns you not to approach a bear or attempt to entice it. Keep your distance. That's from the Department of Common Sense.
I'm sorry, did you say? I was going to say the Department of Common Sense. You have to be warned to stay away from a bear?
Yeah, just don't, they're not all picnic basket friendly. It's not.
They're not Boo Boo and Yogi, huh? All right, there's much more ahead, local for you at 5:30.
Yeah, police are looking for the purse bandits in this vehicle. They struck as parents dropped their kids off at daycare. What investigators say the thieves did with the stolen items ahead.
My daughter will freeze them, and then we have peach cobbler during the year.
No problem. The peach truck made a stop in Central Ohio from peach cobbler to peach lemonade to peach grilled wings. We're going to tell you why this truck is so popular and where it's going to be next.
5:30 starts now.
It's been less than a week since farm fields across Central Ohio looked more like ponds. The heat has dried things out a little bit this week, but the trouble is not over. Thanks for staying with us at 5:30. I'm Jared Smalley.
And I'm Darlene Hill. Our Ben Galbraith has been talking to farmers in the Plain City area. He joins us right now with more on what they have to deal with, and it's been a long year for them.
Darlene and Jared, optimists, of course, always hoping for better weather next year.
All right, Ben, thank you much. And so let's turn now to Dave Mazza, chief meteorologist, to talk about when that next rainfall might be coming. You heard the farmer there say they have a few days and then it rains again and they're back in the same mess.
Yeah.
What would be potentially the next rainfall for them?
And that's the problem. Like yesterday, we had, a rain shower that came over Delaware County, northern Delaware County, and radar estimates were like 2 inches of rainfall over an hour. And that's the problem we're going to be dealing with the next couple of days because we do have a
Fest 2019 is underway at Goodale Park. It is the largest volunteer-driven music and arts festival in the city. Live music started at noon. It's going to end tonight around 11 o'clock. The event also features workshops, kids' activities, and guest speakers. And here's the best part. Admission is, of course, free. Because of traffic, organizers recommend taking a bicycle or taking a COTA bus. They'll be running late tonight and tomorrow. If you plan to drive, organizers recommend you park in the Arena District garages. If you're parking on the street, there is a new meter system in the Short North, and you should download the new Columbus parking app to make it easier.
All right, before you can take out a bite. Okay, so remember this. Mark your calendar, set the alert on your phone because the peach truck will be back at Dill's Greenhouse again on July 19th. It's going to be out in Lancaster tomorrow, though, at, I got to remember that. Our producer told us where, but I can't remember. I'll let you know. But
in the city, you'll find it.
In the city there, in Lancaster. So listen to this. We talked about this. It's so many recipes in this cookbook right here. It's kind of like Bubba from Forrest Gump. So you got grilled peach wings, you got grilled peach cheese, you got snapper with peach, you got peppers with peach.
Peach, shrimp, peach, gumbo.
Everything in this book, the Peach Truck Cookbook. They've even got drinks in here.
That's
a
summer.
cookbook.
That is summer.
That's a cookbook.
That's a pretty cool way to spend the day.
It sure is.
Coming up, an anti-abortion bill struck down in Alabama stays down. We'll explain the U.S. Supreme Court's decision.
And President Donald Trump meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the G20 summit. What the president had to say about Russian meddling in the election. That's coming up on the other side of the break.
Trooper is seriously injured after his cruiser was hit by a wrong-way driver. New at 6, we have an update on his condition and the message the State Highway Patrol has for the people who helped him.
All right, Colleen, thank you. A big game in France, the United States versus the home country in the World Cup. The Americans playing for a spot in the semifinals. That game just wrapped up not too long ago. The man has been watching it, checking it out. He's joining us right now with more on this.
I got to see most of it. Look, we thought this might be the biggest test for the American team, certainly so far in the World Cup. There could be bigger ones coming. And in the World Cup, look, there's no guarantee of World Cup success. That's especially true in the knockout round. Today, the Americans facing perhaps their toughest test, one of the best nations in the world in women's soccer, and facing them on their home soil, too. Ample amounts of red, white, and blue in the stadium, as you'd imagine. France, the only nation to beat the USA in their past 42 matches. But in the early moments, the Americans take command. Megan Rapinoe on the free kick. It gets through everyone. Her 4th goal in 4 matches, and she was not done. Second half, still 1-0. Americans deep in the zone. Great ball across to Rapinoe, who scores again. France gets on the board a few moments later, but it is not enough. 2-1 the final. Megan, the hero, a huge hill climb for the USA en route to the World Cup final. The Americans advance to the World Cup semifinals. Those matches are set for next Tuesday and Wednesday in France, Darlene.
All right, thank you so much. And by the way, the U.S. women, well, they had to play in extreme heat. Temperatures there, a record high in France. The mercury soared to as high as 113 degrees in parts of the country. French authorities warned that even people who are healthy, feeling pretty good, you should take caution and keep yourself hydrated. Let's toss it on over to Dave right now. Can you imagine playing in that? I mean, you've played sports, and
well,
it doesn't take much.
It's amazing how quickly dehydration sets in. But you're talking about the highest level of your sport,
right.
The nerves and anxieties that set in on top of that. I mean, that's a pretty rough situation
and
to play
playing at that level.
In the southern part of the country, I think 100 plus, right, in France?
Yeah, 113 all-time record high for the country. That's
I'm having a flash just thinking about that.
That is unreal. Yeah, we think it's hot here, and it's
Saved by peaches.
Oh my God. We're still running pretty warm here so far this afternoon, heading into the evening. Had a couple of pop-ups.
Appreciate it, sir. Checking on the Friday evening commute. You'd imagine to be a little lighter, right? Well, you're looking at I-70, US 33, traffic just starting to clear up after a crash near Hamilton Road. We told you about that earlier. Delaware County drivers are going to see some construction on State Route 605 this weekend. Jennifer Bullock has everything you need to know in tomorrow's Traffic Tonight.
Good evening. A heads up for